It was so noisy at home, with everybody arguing. This was most unusual, and he couldn't understand it at all. Rocky sighed and told him he didn't have much left to sell anyway, because the weather had been so bad, he hadn't been for fresh supplies. "The weather is the reason for everyone being so grumpy," said Mother Honeysuckle. "Nobody's got enough to do. At least I still have my teaching, even when it's raining." Rocky agreed that she could be right, because during the morning, when it wasn't raining quite so hard, several customers had asked for paint and wallpaper. The trouble was, he didn't have any. Grandfather Timbertop realized that they couldn't even decorate their houses to keep themselves busy, and asked Mother Honeysuckle if she had any ideas. Mother Honeysuckle looked around and asked Rocky, "What have you got left in the shop?" Rocky told her there were mainly gardening tools, because he always kept a big stock of those. But Grandfather Timbertop pointed out that they weren't much use now because the weather had made the garden too wet to work in. "What's in all those tins?" Honeysuckle asked. Rocky, glancing at Grandfather Timbertop, told her that it was very, very good furniture polish, made specially by Grandfather Timbertop with beeswax, from his own bees. "That's it, then," cried Mother Honeysuckle. "That's my idea. Grandfather Timbertop, all the Sylvanians believe you've got a magic honeypot. They'll also believe that the beeswax polish is magic. They can spend all their time polishing their furniture and paintwork with your magic polish." Grandfather Timbertop laughed excitedly and said they could use it on the floors as well because it didn't make the floors slippery. Rocky was very pleased and put his very last piece of card to good use by writing out a notice and placing it in the window. "I'll take a tin of polish home with me," Mother Honeysuckle said. "On my way, I'll call in at the Thistlethorns." Summer, Ashley and Preston went home with Prissy and Lester after school. "I'll pretend I've called in to take my 3 home, and I might just happen to mention the magic polish to Prissy and Lester Thistlethorn." And Rocky chuckled because he knew that everybody in Sylvania would learn about it by morning. Even the heaviest rain wouldn't stop young Prissy running around to tell everyone a bit of news like that. So Mother Honeysuckle called at the Thistlethorns' house to collect her children. She told Prissy and Lester all about the magic polish that Rocky Babblebrook was selling. Prissy's nose twitched excitedly, and Mother Honeysuckle knew it wouldn't be long before Prissy was telling everybody the news. On the way home, Ashley wondered if they could polish all the school furniture, but his sister Summer said that they'd do it in the playtime so as not to miss any lessons. Summer Evergreen enjoyed her lessons and wouldn't miss them for anything, not even magic polish. The next morning it was raining harder than ever, but nobody seemed to mind. After the children had been sent off to school, all the Sylvanian mothers and grandmothers dressed up against the rain and hurried down to the general store. Rocky Babblebrook chuckled to himself as the shop filled up with customers. Not only had Prissy Thistlethorn spread the news, Father Chester Thistlethorn had stayed up all night to print an extra edition of the Sylvanian Gazette. The front page story was all about the magic polish. As they were waiting in the queue, Grandmother Flora Wildwood asked Grandmother Pearl Babblebrook if she had read Mother Willow Thistlethorn's problem page. Grandmother Pearl explained that she hadn't had the time and wanted to know if it had been another article about bad manners being a problem. The 2 grandmother rabbits chuckled together. They loved discussing Willow's problem page. Grandmother Flora explained that this article had been about keeping spectacles clean, and that Mother Willow seemed to think the problem could be solved by using magic polish. She also said that Willow needed spectacles herself if she thought theirs were dirty. 2 hours later, Rocky's shop was empty. Everyone had bought a tin of polish and hurried home to start using it. There was only one tin left, so Rocky kept that for himself. He took the notice out of the window, started to polish the shelves and then the floor, where hundreds of wet, muddy feet had walked over it all day. Meanwhile, as most of the Sylvanians were polishing their furniture, their paintwork and their floors, Grandfather Timbertop went to the bottom of the garden to talk to his bees. First, he asked them if they remembered all the beeswax polish he had made. Then he told them it was the most useful thing he'd ever made, and thanked them for all their help. The bees buzzed happily inside their hives. They liked to hear Grandfather Timbertop's gruff voice telling them things. In the Sylvanian schoolroom, the children chatted happily as they spent their lunchtime break polishing the school furniture. When you finished the furniture, you could all tie dusters over your feet and pretend to be skating, suggested Mother Honeysuckle. That way you could have a nice game and polish the floor at the same time. Misty Waters, balancing on one leg as she polished a table, said it was just like doing aerobics. Roger Waters went to Mother Honeysuckle and said how sorry he was that he argued with Logan the day before. He said he knew it was rude of him, especially as he was a visitor in her house. Then he told her that they were friends again now and were going to write about Misty's aerobic classes. Mother Honeysuckle smiled. That's good. I hope you aren't writing about Scarlet's tail, though. I know she's a bit of a show-off about her tail, but it wouldn't be nice to write about it. Roger laughed and told her they were going to write about Scarlet's beauty tips instead, and she was going to hold a beauty contest, and they'd write about that, too. The Sylvanians went to bed early that night. They were all tired out. They'd spent the whole day using the magic polish. Before she went to bed, Grandmother Primrose stepped outside for a breath of air. It was still raining, but she knew it would be fine the next day because her ears were ringing, and they were never wrong. She smiled happily to herself because she knew that everybody would think it was the magic polish that changed the weather. Well, maybe it was. And way over the Timbertop's garden, the bees buzzed happily as they got ready to make some more beeswax. Who knows, the Sylvanian families might need some more magic polish one day.
Sylvanian families, they drop your place at Christmas and with all the furniture and fun. Sylvanian families, they will stay together forever and ever. Sylvanian families.
Collect all the original Sylvanian family stories. 1. The Peculiar Picnic. 2. The Magic Polish. 3. The Vanishing Snowman from the Rainbow Theatre for Children.